Hi, I'm Shelley with Shelley Armstrong Events. Thanks for tuning in. Our next guest today is Abdul Muhammad with Karatbars International. And something interesting, and I have not heard of this before, so I'm like taking all this in. It's like, ooh, I kind of like that idea. So welcome, Abdul. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Shelley.
And why don't you tell us what Karatbars Gold is all about?
Fortunately, it's the greatest saving plan in the world.
I like that. He's calling it out straight away. The greatest savings plan
in the world.
In the world.
Absolutely.
All right, it's done. Here we go. All right.
Because you're saving gold. Gold is the only real currency. Gold has established the economics of civilization, period. And, of course, King Solomon, he had wisdom, but the other thing he had was gold.
Gold.
Okay?
Yes.
So, in regard to Karatbars, first of all, it is a debt-free company, is doing business globally in 123 countries currently. That means it's like music. Wherever you go in the world, music is love, gold is love.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And there's no denying it.
No denying it.
No denying it.
And with the Karatbars MasterCard, you can do business in the world without having to worry about this exchange and all of that. Because wherever there is a MasterCard set up, you can function, use your Karatbars MasterCard. In regard to this significant show that you have
Yes.
regarding weddings, which is talking about marriage, which is a contract, the most sacred contract that we can make in life, you know, we need, I think, 4 elements in marriage, and that is, number one, communication, because most marriages get into problems because of the lack of communication. So with Karatbars, there's a higher means of communicating this love, this affection, this affinity for the partner. And that could be in regard for both the bride or the groom, both, and in particular with the aftermath of, i.e., children, beautiful prince, beautiful princess, there is the Karatbars gift card. The other important thing in regard to marriage and just life in general, we definitely need finance. Okay, so Karatbars is right there because we think about insurance for house, insurance for health, insurance for car. We don't think about insurance for the paper money that we work hard to earn. And the fact is, paper money is fiat currency, as they say, meaning it's just a symbol of value. And it needs something to be behind it to give it real value. And of course, for us, that used to be gold. We don't have that anymore. So our paper is just that. It's just paper. Currently, the U.S. dollar, an American myself, I hate to say it, 3 cents. However, with gold, you're talking generational wealth. You're talking about what in an account that's not just an account, but an account that you can establish your beneficiaries to inherit that. And if your grandparent and my grandparents back in 1934 had just took a little bit of money and invested in some gold, let's say to the tune of just a few ounces of gold, we would be probably with about $4.3 million. Right. Because that's how it's appreciated. Whereas if they had even $1 million in an account for you and I from 1934, today $1 million would be about $100,000. And continuing to depreciate as we know. So that's a lot of money that's lost.
It is.
The Karatbars, we have what we'll call categories of cards. We have the country cards, which includes, of course, our country, America, Canada, Spain, you know, Ireland, you name it. It's just about so many countries. You can have a card specifically for a friend or family member for that particular country. We have also what is called special cards. These are special cards that have significant characters or icons, like Pope John II as a special Karatbar card for him, 100,000, the limited edition. Obviously, potential for future appreciation is just tremendous. So that's another thing about gold. It's a hedge against inflation. It's a hedge against deflation. It's a hedge against hyperinflation. What is hyperinflation? Hyperinflation is, let's say today you have $1 million. And let's say a year from now, that inflation in the society has gone to, let's say, $1 trillion. Well, with $1 million, let's say if you had $1 million and you had 10% of it over those years, it would leave you with about $100,000. So with $1 million, it would leave with $1 trillion and inflation, it would leave you with nothing because it's wiped out.
Unfortunately, right.
Yeah, and keeping along with your theme of wedding shops, event planners, these type of businesses, they would be able to do a wonderful services for their particular clients and customers with Karatbars Go, because they could have what's called a Karatbars exchange center. These are global, now over 200,000 around the world, whereas people come and people who are local can come and exchange Karatbars Go for dollars in our case. They can also buy gifts and that type of thing, depending on what they are providing as their merchandise, and have a wonderful experience without having a lot of stuff around with, say, people that are relatives in Fresno, etc. The other thing about a marriage, I think we mentioned it requires finance, but it also requires romance.
Hopefully.
Too many times with the guys, we kind of let the romance kind of get on the lazy side of things.
Yes.
And that's not good.
No. But it happens.
It happens.
Sorry.
So
It happens.
if you have that romantic annual, observance for the wedding, and you give the 1 gram of gold or the 2.5 gram of gold or the 5 gram of gold, obviously the wife is really going to have just a high degree of excitement and admiration for the value that you put on that occasion.
Right.
And we can use the Karatbars for congratulations. We can use them for business recognition as an award for certain business achievement. We can use the bar mitzvah, baptisma,
Right.
you name it. This is so many things. But the important thing is, even if you wanted to say, give a gift to the wife or significant other for Valentine's per se, as opposed to buying that rose bouquet that eventually will wither and disappear, they can buy a rose bouquet on the Karatbars Go. So it's not going to disappear. It's going to be around, and like a wedding ring, which many women pass from one generation to the next,
Yes,
that
they
will
do.
be passable from one generation to the next.
Well, and like you said, it's generational wealth.
Yeah.
And that's something I think that, to be honest with you, that a lot of today's millennials kind of forget about. It's all about them.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, we get that, but it's like, well, you're going to have kids soon, and you really need to think about their future as well, and on and on.
The other great thing about this Karatbars on the concept of generational wealth, we can talk about real estate, and of course we've experienced a bubble from 2008. Still a great vehicle for wealth if you can really get out there and make it happen in a big way. Single-family houses are okay these days, but it's not the real wealth-building platform it used to be, if you're just talking 1 or 2 houses. But with Karatbars, you are able to not have a concern about a bubble or a concern about even economic collapse. And globally now, we know of about 30 countries that are at least acknowledging their economy as far as their money, their fiat currency is a goner. And actually, we might as well admit it for ourselves, even though it's a hard thing to do.
Right.
So whereas the collapse of, say, Portugal or Greece, Puerto Rico, more closer to home, those people, if they have been wiped out on retirement, they have been wiped out on savings by way of Roth IRAs and other things. With a Karatbars account, you have Go, and you are not subject to the total imploding or collapse of the economy, here or globally.
Here or globally. And I think
Absolutely.
that's the key right there.
Yeah.
Is that it's not just here, it's globally as well.
That's
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Fantastic information and really informative. And definitely something that I don't think people think about every day, which is very unique. I'm telling you, today is the unique show.
Exactly.
For sure.
Now, let me make
sure.
a bit of a graceful statement for the people. Literally, gold has been in the hands of about 1% of the world population, the highest elitists. The common masses have the idea of gold as a commodity. And we're talking about commodities market, which is a very complex, complicated situation. So when you hear about gold going down 4% on the commodities market, that's really in regard to the general mining aspect. It's not talking about gold in the real reality. So the point to be made real quick is that this is very doable. It is what is considered transactional gold. It is private gold. It is the new trend for the future. We will be moving from paper currency and making our transaction via gold by way of Gold MasterCard or your Gold e-wallet. And the bottom line is we will be in a much more fair and better economic and global world, because global brings about equality. And when the 99% get on board,
Right.
with the understanding, the mind has to be changed, because most people are with a mental block in regard to gold. It's out of your reach. It's $1,400 a year and a half ago, 1950. Wow, who can afford that? Now, if you're talking a gram, and you're not going through the red tapes of the commodities market, you're talking about an offshore account that is not subject to, i.e., being snatched with any kind of governmental takeover. You have a wonderful thing, and I hope that in this short format people will grasp that and follow up. And some information for contacting me. My number, 559-840-5586.
Wonderful.
And my website is www.goldsavings999.com. The idea here is you can register free for your gold saving account. It's up to you to do something after. And with that, you can go forth and begin to save gold weekly, bi-weekly, monthly for yourself that you can afford. You can also look at gifts, items for family, friends, etc., significant occasions, and decide what you want to surprise and totally, let's say, blow away the particular circumstance, the person that you're going to give this gift to.
Right.
It's really a beautiful thing.
Okay. Well, and again, it's not only a unique concept, but it's a unique gift
Absolutely.
as well, and something that'll last.
It's from heaven.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that information. Again, that's something that I knew absolutely nothing about, so I'm glad that you were so informative and able to share with our guests. And you can see up there on the screen a little bit about that information, as well as the website is on there, and the phone numbers are on there as well. Fantastic.
And if you want to email me, that's, I say Wiz, it's, most people pronounce it Wiz, W-I-Z, option,
Okay.
at gmail.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, Abdul, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate your time and your knowledge and information.
I appreciate your show, and keep up the great work.
Thank you so
Okay.
much. All right. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.